Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. One thing I love to do in No Man's Sky is to create fun and unique bases, and today I'll be taking you on a tour of some of my favorite builds. I love to create bases with stories behind them, and to experiment with combining different building elements to make fun, new designs. I'm excited to bring you along for a virtual tour, and have picked up some really cool bases to share with you all. Come along and we'll begin! Alright, so the first base we're checking out is the True Earth Visitor Information Center and Gift Shop. This is located on the community planet True Earth in the Euclid galaxy. And one thing I really like about the planet is there's a lot of people building bases on it. And I wanted to kind of build something right near the portal that sort of acted as like an introduction to the planet, as if you were on vacation and came in and were like, oh cool, there's some information about the planet I'm visiting. And yeah, that was the inspiration behind it. I wanted to keep it relatively small just because there are a lot of bases on the planet and I didn't want something sprawling. I just kind of wanted to be reminiscent of like a tourist trap in a way, like very kind of museum-esque, but also like they're there to get your money. You're there to buy souvenirs. So I kind of imagined this foyer with the wonder projector of True Earth. So it's the first thing you walk in and you're like, okay. And then I sort of was like, okay, well, we need to populate it with like magazines and posters and, you know, information, but also like things you could buy as if you were getting souvenirs to go back to your home planet. And that was basically the inspiration behind this. I also wanted to create little displays, kind of like information panels, like, you know, when you go to like a visitor information center and they have those like big poster panels that are like, oh, you know, visit this area, or, you know, they're all usually kind of advertising what you can find, and that was kind of the idea behind that. And then with the counter too, I wanted to kind of make it look like, you know, you could go up and you could get like tours, you could get information, you could book a shuttle, all that kind of information that you'd find. And then of course, you know, the gifts, all the stuff you could buy, you know, replica, corrupted sentinels, and all sorts of little statues to bring back to your friends and family. Of course, very overpriced, but you know, who cares when you're on vacation and you're checking out stuff like that, right? So just kind of a close-up here of what I tried to make, like a magazine rack, like, or not a magazine, but those like pamphlets, like those racks you have that are just like pamphlets of things to do in the area. And then of course, as any, you know, information center, it's got to have a couple bathrooms, it's got to be well stocked, and you know, a nice little rest stop for people to go and recoup as they continue on their journey through True Earth. And that's just kind of what I wanted to create here. Just a very sort of chill, relaxing, but also informative place that you could get all the information you needed and continue on your journey. Same idea here, just some posters overlaid on the panels is kind of like more like info panels as well. Like, oh, True Earth was founded by this, and did you know that? And, you know, make sure you visit our wonderful blah blah blah. So that was kind of the idea behind that. Another shot kind of the outside here. The portal code is in the bottom there if you do want to visit it, and I hope to see you there. Alright, next up in the same system as True Earth, I believe it's the Mustafar system, which is very fitting for this planet. I have the Volcanic Research Facility, and honestly, up until this point, I didn't even know you could build on volcanoes. I thought they were like marked as like not being able to build on. So, to my surprise, I climbed one and I was like, oh, cool, I can actually put a base on here. And that's sort of where this idea grew, is that I was this kind of like outpost just in the middle of nowhere on this like inhospitable planet. I believe it's classified as an extreme planet. And yeah, that's kind of how it took shape from there. And I started with the outside. I wanted to kind of have this just almost precarious looking structure, just kind of perched on the edge overlooking the caldera. And one thing I love about this base is just like the color you get from the planet. Like, it's just all these kind of like red hues. And so like all the components look a little bit different than you would see in just like a regular planet. Of course, I had to put a landing pad because otherwise there's no way you'd make it up here. I think I got burned a few times climbing the volcano the first. So here we go. Here's a bird's eye view, I guess, or a POV view, I should say, from the launch pad. And I wanted to feel very, very industrial, very kind of like facility. There's nothing here that doesn't serve a purpose. There's no like extra bits. There's no art. It's just, you know, it's built for what it is, and that's it. We'll get back to that teleporter in a minute because it goes to a very interesting place. One thing that sort of inspired me too, you'll see it when we get to some of the control panels, is I wanted this to kind of be a little bit reminiscent of like an Imperial base, like from Star Wars, just with like the sleek black panels with like all the little blinking lights. It's kind of all symmetrical in a row. Everything is very orderly. Of course, I wanted to put the teleporter right where when you come out, that's what you see. You step right out in kind of the main area. And if you time it right, you might step right out when the volcanoes erupt, which does make for a very cool vista. So yeah, again, just another sort of small base. I find like the small bases are easier to manage in a sense. Like sometimes I'll build these massive structures and then I go to populate them on the inside and I'm like, oh shit, there's too much space. So I kind of like to keep them smaller. Here's another kind of shot of what I sort of deemed like the main controls, kind of where you'd sit and monitor whatever you'd monitor from this station. Again, very kind of Imperial themed, very sleek, kind of everything very lined up. The little shrunken down buttons, of course, really something reminiscent to me of like the Star Wars control panels and everything. Love the fact that the volcano just periodically erupts in the background. It has just a really cool element to the base. Like you feel like if you weren't contained in this little space, like you'd be in a lot of danger. Of course, there's like mega storms on this planet every like 2 minutes. Like it's a huge, extreme planet. So I love how it just adds to the ambience of it. Let's imagine getting posted here for any period of time, just as a researcher. Like you'd be pretty lonely. But also, you know, you want to hope the AC works. But I believe the outside temperature of the planet is like, well, it's stupid high. In the storms, I think it gets up to like 300 Celsius or more. Alright, we're gonna go take the teleporter to the core. And if you come and visit this base, be careful because the core does do extreme heat damage. That was kind of the idea, is that like, if you're not prepared and go into the reactor core of any sort of mega power plant or facility, like, yeah, it's gonna do damage to you. So just a fair warning, if you do go in and visit the base by yourself, just be prepared that you may die if you go in there. Full disclaimer. Just another little shot kind of the base in its entirety, just with all the columns and iron beams, steel beams, I guess it would be. And step outside to extreme heat. Yeah, 300 Celsius, 301.2. So, definitely a lot different from the visitor center. This is a lot more hazardous to your health. You know what they say, no man's Skyrim belongs to the Nords. And here we are at Kaldrvegr Great Hall, combination of two Old Norse words for cold and way, or way to the cold. This is one of those buildings that I wanted to create something using the basic building materials to make something you necessarily wouldn't expect to see in No Man's Sky. Wanted to blend sort of the futurism of No Man's Sky, but also keep a bit of that like ancient Norse architecture. I wanted this to be reminiscent of like the Jarl's Hall, like the meeting hall where you'd gather and socialize and decide on things for the village. In the middle, I wanted to have like a big roast or a big feast going on, the table just all laid out for all the warriors, and of course ending with like the Jarl's seat at the top where he can preside over the whole building. Definitely took a little bit of creativity to sort of incorporate the No Man's Sky building elements into looking like Nordic elements. For example, the swords and spears on the statues are oversized plates and shovels, but I think they do a pretty good job as long as you don't stare at them too closely. And here we've got the big fire pit in the middle cooking up a feast. Put a fireplace under the floor just to kind of give that ambient fire crackling sound. Here we've got a little bar with some kegs ready to go. I wanted to keep this space pretty open. I didn't want to have it filled with too much because I want it to be really feel like a gathering hall, a place where you could really put a lot of people into. On the side here, kind of like I envision sort of like a place for debate where you'd have like 4 people on one side and then 4 people on the other side, and you'd kind of be able to dispute any sort of issues going on. You could go back and forth. Shot of those imposing statues there. I think that's the largest you can make the dinner plates in the vanilla game. You can almost hear the revelry around the table. One element I really wanted to incorporate with like the Jarl's throne is that you can actually sit on it. Kind of feel like a Jarl for a day. Here we're looking from the throne. This would be the view if you were sitting on the throne outwards to the hall. Honestly, sometimes looking at this table makes me hungry for a big feast. I really wanted the hall to feel open, to feel quite like immense inside. Like you walk in and you've got that sort of almost sense of awe of just like how high the roof is, how spacious it feels inside, and also how cozy, because you know you're in a deep freeze outside. You wanna come in and you wanna feel like you can stay a while and rest and not have to go and freeze your ass off outside. This one doesn't have a launch pad or a landing pad, just because I didn't really know where to put it, and I also kind of wanted to keep it a little more primitive in a sense. Like maybe these villagers don't have access or easy access to space flight. It's kind of a shot back at the building. It's perched on top of a mountain. Well, that's it for this tour. Hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll definitely be back with some more base tours in the future. So don't forget to like and subscribe so you will never miss a notification. Thanks again for watching, and tune in next time. Bye!